Sorry, guys, bear with me 1 second. Okay. All right. Okay, welcome to first period calculus AB. I'm Mr. Yang. I'm so excited to have you guys back and being able to teach you guys this year. I have all calculus this year. I'm the only teacher this year teaching calculus. So I have 4 ABs and 2 BCs. So it'll be a busy year. I don't have a planning period, but they're not going to give me an advisement role. So I get to have that as a mini planning period. But it should be. I'm still excited though that to have all the to have 6 classes of calculus. So first thing I want you guys to do, if you guys can do a sign up for this class. So it's also at the top of your syllabus. Okay, so if you guys can use your phone right now, so you're going to text to this number and then message. And I want us all to be in the same class. This is a way for me to send out reminds. If there's a help session or there's a test or there's something that I forgot to stay in class and I want to get it out to you guys, I can. It also allows me to. I mean, I guess I can also email individual students, but sometimes it's faster and quicker to get hold of individual students through Remind as well. Okay. So go ahead and take care of that. Okay, so again, it's also at the top of your syllabus page. Okay. First thing I want to make sure that we are we're able to find is my website. I really try to update my website on a daily basis. So everything that you need, hopefully you can find on my website. So whether it's if you misplace your notes, your calendar, or you want to look at the keys for the homework videos I'm recording right now. So I'm going to record daily. So if you miss a day or if you want to go back and you want to watch parts of the notes, you can always get to it. So on your phone, if you guys can just go to my website here, mryangteacher.weebly.com. And it'll take you directly to the Calculus AB homepage. So if you guys can just make sure you can get to that page now. And so once you're on that page, I have the first link is class notes and keys. So chances are you're just going to be able to go here and go to whichever unit that we're on, and you can find anything that you're looking for that's class related. There's a second link. I'm going to update this as well with the updated calendar, which you guys just all picked up. Syllabus, and then online resources, other websites that I think are helpful. So if you guys can click on class notes. Okay. And you also have a drop-down window. If you do Calculus AB, class notes and videos. Right now we're on chapter P. So if you click on chapter P, It looks a little bit different, but this is from last year. But at the very top, you're going to have links to the textbook problems. Okay, now the textbook that we're using is not in. We haven't received them for students to pick up yet, but this is the class textbook. But I do think that with the notes and with what I'm going to print out with all the exercise problems, you're probably not going to need the textbook, or at least not in the classroom. Maybe once it's in, you'll feel free to pick it up. And I have two handouts for you guys. Guess. You can have it at home as a resource, but I think everything that we need, I'm going to have it in notes packet as well as the exercise problems. So I don't think most students in the previous years haven't really needed a physical textbook, but if you really want one, I'll let you guys know when it's in, when we receive them for you guys to pick up. Okay. You're going to see a link to the syllabus, to the handouts, and then there's keys for all the notes, as well as the keys for all the homework. And then this P1.video will be live, will be accessible once I have that recorded and put up. Okay, so grading scale, this is all in your syllabus as well. 3 categories. We have tests, we have quizzes, and we have practice, which is basically homework. All test quizzes will be closed notes. There's no final exam for this fall semester. Typically, we do a quiz before a test, but sometimes if it's a smaller unit, we may just do a quiz for that unit or just a test. But you guys will have a full month calendar, so you'll see exactly what's coming up. As far as homework goes, I'm going to be checking homework on a daily basis. Now, for this first week, students are moving in and out. I'm not going to check the homework until next Monday. And your homework this week is just to finish up the packet that you guys have. So this week, we're just going to be doing pre-calculus review. But we're just working through the packet, and whatever we don't get through in class, you guys will just do it at home, and the keys are also on the website. So, but typically I'll be checking just for homework completion, looking for your work, looking for your steps, looking for your corrections. You have access to all the full solutions on my website. Writing down just the problems and answers is not sufficient. So I will be daily basis. I may try to go over some selected homework problems, answer any questions, and then from there we'll start the new lesson. So sometimes there may not be enough time for me to go through significant homework problems. So I may just hit 1 or 2 and then start the notes for the day. And so each homework assignment will be worth 4 points. Any late homework shown to me before the next assessment will earn 3 points per assignment. So if you miss an assignment, you can still show it to me the next day for 3 points. And it's really, I mean, if you're doing your homework on a daily basis and just every now and then you're docked for late homework, it's not really going to amount to much. It's only going to be 10% of your total grade. But still, it's enough where it's kind of 3 points, right? If you just do the homework, then you'll earn those automatic points. Late homework will not be accepted after the unit test is given. I may still, last year, I think I did give some, students who didn't do any homework, but they still showed it to me by the end of the semester. I still gave them some credit. I didn't want to put a 0 for that category. So you're not going to get full credit, but any homework that you show, I'll still give you some credit for it. Okay, but ideally that you're doing it all on time, and those are just easy points. Okay. Okay, so cell phones will be in the phone cubbies starting tomorrow. I will have, when you come in tomorrow, I will have seating chart. And then once you see your, the number that is on the desk is going to correspond to where you're going to put your phone. Okay. Students will have opportunity to recover each test grade up to a 75, and recovery needs to be completed before the next unit test. I will hold morning help sessions the day of the quiz or the test. And then, or the afternoon, depending on, I may have to coordinate between A, B, and DC help sessions. But typically I'm also available in the morning. I get here usually around 7:15. So if you just want to come in anytime just to ask me any questions, usually I'm pretty free in the morning. But every now and then I do have meetings, and if I do, you can always send me an email the day before, or just to check with my schedule, but typically pretty available in the mornings. Okay, so textbook should be coming, but I don't think we're going to need it that much. Okay, so student class supply list. Really want you guys to be able to get your hands on a TI 83 or 84, or just any of the TIs, any of the graphing calculators for text instrument is great. TI 36 Pro is not allowed on the AP exam, but you can still use it for a test or quiz, assuming that it's a calculator active assessment. So yeah, it doesn't matter if it's 83 or 84, but anything in that family is great. So and these are all just suggestions here, just whatever works for you, whether it's through Rebinder or class folder, printer paper, graph paper. I do have this paper available on the shelf. So if I did not get enough space on the guided notes, you're more than welcome to just grab a sheet if you need extra space to work out problems. Pencil, pen, eraser, ruler, highlighter, color pens, just suggestions, not really required, but as long as you have writing utensil, that's good enough. Okay, so here's the breakdown for our Calculus AP pacing. We're going to be covering, first semester is all about derivatives, just another word for slope. So we're going to be covering through a huge chunk of our content in the first semester. Second semester, we're kind of working backwards. So derivatives, first semester, second semester is anti-derivatives, which is just undoing the derivative process. But we're only going to have new material up until around mid-March. And then that will give us a good month and a half before we take our AP exam. Now, this year's AP exam schedule is pushed back another week. So we won't have our AP exam until May 13th. So, which is good and bad. I think it's good in the sense that we have more time to prepare for the AP exam, but it's also bad since it kind of extends your school year a little bit longer into that second and third week of May. Okay. Yeah, just a quick note about the format. The format of the AP exam, you have multiple choice and free response. Multiple choice is 45 questions. Free response is 6 questions. And multiple choice, you'll have calculator and non-calculator. 30 questions, non-calculator, 50 questions, calculator. And then once you're done with that, then you move on to the free response question. Free response questions, you have 2 problems, that's calculator, 4 problems, that's non-calculator. And the hope is that within our month and a half of review, we're just going to kind of drill through as many of these problems as we possibly can. And then the hope is that when you get to AP exam, you'll feel like you've seen a lot of the problems that you can. So the hope is that there's no big surprises when you get to the AP exam. Okay, so here are the big ideas for calculus. We're not going to get to this until next week with first semester content. This week is all about pre-calculus. review. But fall semester, it's going to focus on differential calculus, so derivatives. So derivative sounds fancy, but it's just describes the rate of change of one variable with another, with respect to another. So in other words, it's just rate of change. It's just slope, but it allows us to solve problems that otherwise would be difficult from an algebraic perspective. So it's all about slope, all about derivatives first semester. And second semester, it's about integral calculus. It's definite integrals that describes the net change in one variable over an interval of another. So in other words, it's area. And it feels like, wait, what's the connection here? So we will talk about that connection between slope and area, but area and slope are kind of just inverse processes of each other. So first semester is all about slope. Second semester is all about area. We're just exploring that concept. Okay, so again, tomorrow I will have assigned seats, and they will be projected on the board, and the seat number that you're in will match whatever number for your phone. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to begin chapter P1 notes today, and then whatever we don't finish, we'll just continue over the course of this week. All right. Any questions?
So like last year in pre-calc we didn't have homework, but this year we will have homework. Is what you're saying?
Right. Yeah. So last year I felt like with pre-calc we were able to do everything in class, but there's more content in this course. So I would suggest my suggestion is that you're probably going to have to set aside about 30 minutes or so per day for homework. Now, this first week is going to be a little bit easier. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot, but and we'll go through the calendar in a bit. But yeah, the homework is, I would say, set about 30 minutes a day for homework. And obviously, if it gets to the day before a test or quiz, you may want to spend more time. Yeah.
I know you listed the 3 different calculators you recommended, but
Yeah.
which one do you suggest the most?
I think any of them are good. Any 83, 84, they all do the same. Some of them do more than others, but for our course, we only need a few important things that needs to do, and then they all do the same thing. So it's really up to you. Yeah. So
What time do you think we'll need them by?
I would say we probably won't need it the first 2 weeks, but maybe by like Labor Day, after Labor Day, September, we'll start using it intermittently, but we won't use it a whole lot until probably later into like September, October, right? But the earlier you have it, the more you can start playing with it and just getting comfortable with it. Okay, any questions? All right, so let me just highlight the class calendar for a little bit, and we can step into our notes. Okay, so today we're going to start chapter P. So P.1, and we're just going to go through a bunch of highlighting a lot of concepts that will be good to review, such as functions and their graphs, transformations, trig review, exponential, and log review. And then we'll do a miscellaneous topics on Friday, but it's all within the packet that you have. And I'll be checking your packet on Monday. So I'll just be walking around each of the rows and just flip through the pages and show me that you completed it. Then that will count for 5 days worth of homework. Okay. And then next week, we're going to start with limits. So we're not going to have assessment over this chapter P. We're just going to go directly into our first unit of limits. and we'll have 3 days of topic, 1 day of review, and then quiz next Friday. And then the hope is that we can get through all of Unit 1 and have our Chapter 1 limits test before Labor Day weekend. Okay, so evaluating a function. Okay, so it's all review. So here what we do is if I want to find f of -2, basically you're given the x value and you're asking for the y value. Right, so you just simply replace every x with -2. Okay, just combine those like terms there. So 4 + 4 + 5, 8 + 5 is 13. All right, so this order pair will live on this parabola, right? So if I were to go to that order pair, -13, that's going to be a point that sits on that curve. Now, something that looks a little bit more complicated, f of x + 2. So what we do here is we're going to understand that x + 2 is going to represent the x value of the function. Now, how does that look for us algebraic wise? What we're going to do is, I think the easiest thing to do is do it this way, where understand that the +2 is not just, we're not going to just add +2 to the end of our expression. We're going to replace every instance of x with an x + 2. So if you can start off with this kind of formula, you will never put the argument in the wrong place, right? So basically, wherever you see the x, go ahead and save a space for whatever argument we want to put into it. So f of x is x squared minus 2x plus 5. Every x I'm going to replace with an empty set of parentheses. And that way I'm never going to make a mistake because I'm going to know exactly where that x plus 2 is going to go. So the x plus 2 is just going to go where you have those parentheses saved. Okay. So f of x plus 2 is simply x plus 2 quantity squared minus 2 parentheses x plus 2 plus 5. Okay, so see if you're able to boil this out, expand, combine like terms, and make your way down to your expanded answer. Right, careful with x plus 2 squared, right? We don't want to do x plus 2 squared and just say it's x to the x squared plus 2 squared, right? It's not as simple as that, right? Anytime you have binomial squared, you really want to think of it as 4 terms and expanding it through, right? Pulling it out or distributing through. Oh, wait, no, it's here. Yeah, I'll just do it here. Every package has 24 pages, so just don't shut that. Oh, by the way, this is Luke Irby. He is our teaching assistant. So what he's gonna do, well, he took calculus last year, he did really well, and then he's going to mainly going to help me just with the set tasks that I have. But usually what I like to do, what saved me a lot of time, is having him like once you guys take a test or quiz, having him go through and make corrections. He's not going to do any grading. He's just going to do corrections so that when I grade it, it'll be a little faster. And when you get your test or quiz back, you can see, you know, what mistake you made and what corrections, so you can see a little bit more clearly why you got a question wrong. Okay, so that's the biggest thing that that he's going to help me with. But if you have any questions, you know, feel free to raise your hand, and you know, if I'm in the middle of something, he's more than available to help answer any questions that you guys have as well. Okay. All right. Let's see how we did here. So once you FOIL out your binomial, you get x squared plus 4x plus 4. Make sure you distribute that -2 through the parentheses. So -2x minus 4 plus 5. Combine your like terms. X squared plus 2x plus 5. Now, number 3 looks even more complicated because there's not even any number inside the argument, but approach it the same way, right? The exact same way. Try that. See if you can use number 2 as a way to kind of guide you through number 3. Yeah, really, it's just you know, once you get comfortable, you don't have to do this step every time. But I think to begin with, it's just a reminder that plus h is not just going to live outside your expression. It has a very specific place. It's replacing the x in your original function. And now your expression is going to look a little messier because that h is not going to go away. So you're going to have x's and h in your final expression. Yeah.
Usually, do you want it where like the squares or like the squared variables are farthest to the left and it keeps going? Like,
Oh,
is that,
typically that's we like to have it in standard form. So like the highest degree followed by, but if you put it out of order, I'll never take off any notes for that. But I think that's just the standard way that that we're used to seeing. So
yeah, same thing of like so if I said 2hx to 2xh, would that like be?
oh yeah, it wouldn't matter, right? 2hx or 2xh there. Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
If
Yeah.
there are multiple variables, should it be in alphabetical order?
It doesn't matter, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as everything is there, that's what's most important. So we have a lot of terms left over because there's not like terms that's going to combine together. So that's as good as we can get there. Okay. Okay, go ahead and try 4 through number 4. And all you're doing is you're just looking for the y value on the graph. Okay, so it's function notation giving you the x value, locate. Sometimes the y value may not exist. If it doesn't exist, just say undefined. See how well you do with that, and then we'll compare our work.
Can it be multiple?
Yes, yeah, you may end up with Well, it's a function. It should just be one input value, but sometimes you may have multiple values that share the multiple x values that share the same y value. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's possible. Okay, let me go through these here. F of 0 equals -4. So I look at when x is 0, my y value is all the way down here at -4. F of 4 is undefined. That's a hole in the graph. The graph gets infinitely close to this x value of 4, but it never reaches it. So there's that hole. So we say f of 4 is undefined. F of -1, it's some decimal value, right? So the best we can do is do an estimation that it looks like it's somewhere between -3 and -4. So we say -3.5, but if you say -3.6 and -3.4, you can make an argument for that as well, as long as you know where to look. Okay.
Why do you put dotted lines on the graph? Is yours good?
Oh, I think that is for these next two here, the very last one here. But yeah, I just want to kind of show that there's multiple answers there. F of 2 is also undefined. There we have two holes here, but we don't have anything that is defined. Nothing is filled in on that x equals 2 line. F of 3 is equal to 2. We see the graph go through that point there. Now these two are a little bit different because it doesn't give us the x value, it gives us the what? The y value. So it's basically asking, where is the graph going to actually hit a y value of 2? So I use a dotted line to indicate where y value of 2 is, and I just want to see, okay, where is this dotted line going to hit the graph? Hits the graph at this order pair, which is -5, and it also hits the graph at when x is 4. Sorry, 3, my bad, 3. And where's the graph going to have a y value of -3? We look at the graph here, the dotted line, to show that there's two values there. Looks like they're both landing at some decimal value between -1 and -2, and then also between 1 and 2. So I just used easy decimals to indicate that, -1.5 and 1.5. Okay, any questions? All right, we're gonna have to be really comfortable with taking information from a point and from a slope and putting it into point slope form, or writing an equation of the line that meets that following condition. So we're gonna, it says, yeah, use point slope form. You can also do slope intercept form, but I'm gonna keep having us do point slope form. It's just an easier form to get to on the AP exam, and it's just less work to get to. It's not wrong if you put anything in slope intercept form, but point slope form, it looks incomplete, but it's perfectly fine. So it's the most efficient way to get to an answer, to get to an equation, linear equation form that the AP exam will take. So we just want to get to the most efficient linear equation that's point slope form. Okay, so if I have a line that has a slope of 3 and an order pair of 4, -2, understand that slope equals 3. That is going to replace my m of point slope form, and then my order pair 4, -2. That's going to replace my x1, y1. So I'm just gonna make that replacement there. The M, the X1, and the Y1. And there's no need to distribute or, I mean, you can, but then you're just doing more work than is required. So this is as far as we need to go as far as point slope form. This is. Now, if you go further and you solve for Y, it's not wrong. You're just doing additional work that you don't have to. Now, for graphing purposes, maybe it's helpful to get in the point slope form, but right now we're just going to work towards a slope intercept form, but right now we're just work towards point slope form. Okay, try number 6. Same information, the ordered pair just presents itself in a slightly different format, but that's your X and that's your Y.
Morning, staff and students, and welcome to the 23-24 school year.
Like when, like there's, they don't be slope, you just do like y2 minus y1.
Right, yeah. So I'll go through that with you. Okay, so the last example, it doesn't give you the same sets of information, right? But we still need to gather information that that we got from 5 and 6. Just with 5 and 6, they gave you the slope directly. With number 6, it doesn't give you the slope, but we can find the slope, right? If you give them 2 points, the slope is just change in Y over change in X, right? Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Doesn't matter which one is X1, Y1, X2, Y2. But usually the first order pair I see, I'm just gonna call that X1, Y1. The second order pair I see, I'm gonna assign it X2, Y2. But if you do it the other way, you'll still get the same answer. So here I have 12 minus -8 divided by X2 minus X1, -3 minus 4. That reduced to be -20 over 7. So there's my slope. Now, which point do I use?
The first one's great.
Now, you can do the first one or you can do the second one, okay? They may look different, but if you were to clean them up, they're gonna end up being the exact same. So it doesn't really matter, okay? So either point is sufficient to build your tangent, to build your point slope form. So they look very different from each other, but if you were to distribute, clean it up, and solve for Y, they're gonna end up looking the exact same. So because these, this line both points sit on the same line with the same slope, so they're gonna clean up to do the same thing, so. You're, if this is a question on the test or a quiz, it doesn't matter which one you have, right? As long as you have one correct, one of the points and you have a correct slope. Okay, any questions for Strange?
Just out of curiosity, I heard like maybe calculus, is there gonna be like vocabulary stuff, like questions about stuff like that? Logic, line stuff?
Typically, no, but you're gonna have to know what they mean in order to answer the questions. So I'm not gonna have a question, a test about just, understand, like a matching or anything like that, yeah. Okay, next up here, write the equation of the line tangent or the equation of tangent line in point slope form. So we call this a tangent line because this line is going to skim the surface of this parabola at just one point. So it's only touching the graph at one point. So we just want to find the equation of this line. Okay. So again, if I want to find the equation of a line, the only thing that I need is order pair and slope. Now, look at this line here. There's multiple points that you can choose, but let's just go after the point that touches the graph. So what's that order pair there? 1, -1, okay. And I can also do slope of the line, right? Slope is just rise over run. So I can pick any 2 points on the graph. And then just do rise over run. Rise is a vertical motion and run is a horizontal motion. So here, I want to go from left to right here. So here I'm going to go down 2 and over 1. So what's my slope? Close, -2, right? So down 2 is negative. To the right 1 is positive, so -2. Okay. Got my order pair, got my slope. There's my point slope form. Okay, try number 9 and we'll stop there after 9. I found the point where the graph touches the curve. You don't have to use that point, but that's the point that's what we call a tangent because it actually hits that point between the curve. That's this shared point between the graph and the curve. Now, so something else that I also want to share is that the line and the curve, they both share the same slope. So that's what's key about calculus is that we can actually find the slope of a curve at a point. So there's your point. Your slope is 1 because you're going to go up 2 and over 2. Now, a few minutes left. The last thing I want you to do, okay, is if you can, tomorrow you're going to put your phones up, but today I want you to show me that you can get to this page here. So I'm going to walk around and just show me you get to this page, just so that I know that you can get to where all the resources are. So you can go to Calculus, my homepage, Calculus Notes Video, Chapter P, and then just show me that you get to this Chapter P page because it has everything on it. It's got notes, it's got keys, it's got videos. Okay, just show me you can get to that page. So the website is mryangteacher.weebly.com. Thanks, man.
Yeah, so I had to go to Dr. Wagner's class first.
Okay, you do anything in advance or anything? Or you just show up? Okay. I have TA experience. Which teacher? Orchestra. No. You're leaving. Where? Thanks.
What you look at?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just maybe like.
I can. But I got the.
This one, that's plenty of besides something like, so like, is it okay to say like, yeah, I have ADHD.
I have you in the very.
Oh, okay, thank you. I tend to like lose my focus. Like that.